3 children, 2 dogs, 6 meetings with Hong Kong. If you're feeling flat, Barocca can help.
Welcome to ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league. Okay, and we're live. Okay, hello everybody. There we go, brilliant. Welcome with is going to be is running. It's because I wasn't tabbed in. That's why. Okay, so this is going to cause a few issues, I think. Unless I have fixed it somehow. I think I fixed it. Okay. Sorry, everybody. It's been a hot minute since I have last streamed with ACM, and we're back again for a big grid race here at the Nürburgring GP circuit. Now, when the actual Nordschleife DLC came out, this was probably the one part that people were sick of seeing, but now we've had our fair share of fun on the Nordschleife. The GP sticker is a welcome sight to be seeing once again, and me personally being a not a big fan of this track, which is a bit controversial. The GP part of the track is honestly not too bad. You can see Lily here just coming out of the Mercedes arena, where the N24 layout would have that cut through to kind of to cut that part out of the layout. Through the Ford curve and coming up into the Dunlop hairpin. Just a couple other cars ahead of Lily. I need to see who actually is the car that is leading the quali pack, and I just realised I need to set my map to full again. tell you what, we'll do that when things get a little bit quieter so that I'm not doing it mid-stretch. I should have really been a bit more prepared for this. There's a yellow flag behind, it seems like, coming into that kind of left-right section in the track. I'll just quickly close some stuff that I don't need open, because might be slowing down my everything. You'll have to bear with me, chat. It has been a little while since I have done any sort of streaming. We've got a lot of drivers out right now. We've got 41 drivers on the grid, which is absolutely mad to see. Yeah, here comes Lily across the line to start their flying lap. And it does look like someone's actually been disqualified from qualifying. I see a lot of cars in black from their... a lot of cars in black. Actually, tell you what I'll do right now. I will quickly circuit map full drive. Perfect. There we go. Okay, you can just see on the map how many cars we've got. It is absolutely mad. And with 42 cars on track, it is becoming quite apparent that maybe things might get a little bit chaotic. Dreyer currently holding P1 in the number 240. Imperiale Racing Lamborghini, looking very pretty with those stripes on the side. Very nice looking. De Luca just 3/10 back. Maya in the number 40 Audi, taking P11 for now. I think there is a quali split as well with how many drivers there are in qualifying. All the drivers in red, I believe, are qualifying in a sort of different split to all the drivers with a white number plate. Userby is currently sitting in P3, and they are just behind Lily as well. Lily is currently nearly half a second up on their previous best lap. The number 460 car having a bit of trouble at the forward curve there, going off the track. Not something you really want to be seeing here. The Nürburgring GP tracker is a lot... It's more of a traditional racetrack with how old it is. And there's not really a lot of room for error. I mean, there's even less on the actual Nordschleife, but... again, with there being basically no runoff and there just being grass on the outside, you're not really going to be having a good time if you do go off track. We've had two cars really quickly go P1 and P2. Gregorian in P1 with a 54.1. Porshakov just behind Gregorian, the number 696 McLaren. Batek goes P3 in the number 4 BMW. Jamaican bobsled sim racing team. Absolutely love that. A very pretty looking livery, and it looks like Batek's dragging a bollard with them. There we go, spitting out the side of the BMW. You don't want to be carrying that one around with you. A lot of other drivers are currently on setting their times, and Batek has pulled off to the side of the road and has now returned to the pit lane. I think they're going to be probably making a few little setup changes to go back out again, with just being about 3/10 off of pole. They're going to be aiming for it, because from what I remember about Batek, they are a very, very quick driver, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they can do in qualifying. Gossel at the moment in the NSX, which is a brave choice from my personal experience. He's going to be coming across the finish line. Currently P16, a 158.0. Siva Parsed is currently P15, but they are sat in the pit lane in that BMW, which is inside of a McLaren there. I'm surprised that the Nürburgring can hold this many drivers when it doesn't actually seem to have that many spots in the pit lane. Again, I've never really done a race with a grid that is this big, so yeah, I'm looking forward to... Well, I say looking forward to. I'm half dreading the chaos that we're going to be seeing. So, with just a few days left to go until career mode, here is my career mode shilling. I do just want to say, ACM has done some incredible things top of incredible, Drea has broken the 1 minute 54 barrier, setting a 53.9 to take pole position. Very impressive from the Lamborghini driver. Career mode is coming up. Career mode Season 1, the first full proper season of ACM Racing's career mode. And you might notice a familiar voice if you are a Patreon member of ACM. You can actually access some of the career mode features early and get ahead of the game by signing yourself up through their career mode page, and most importantly, trying to get your sponsors and strategy and all that other stuff set up. Drea seemed very happy with that lap, pulled off to the side. I think they might have invalidated, and even though they don't actually have the best Sector 1 or 2 or 3, they have taken the fastest lap, so it just goes to show that with a little bit more time, I'm sure these other drivers will maybe be able to pull something together. It does look a little bit spread out at the top of the field, the top 9 separated by about a second. Trying to see who else is on for a decent improvement, and it looks like Porshakov actually, with about 4/10 in the pocket coming through the final corner, the final hairpin, taking them onto the pit straight, going very wide, using all of the track and more, and takes pole position with a 1 minute 53.7, pulling off to the side of the road to return to the garage. And you know what? That is a fair point, because I mean, that's a really good lap. Usually P4 currently with a 54.2. There are only 3 drivers currently who have broken that 1 minute 54 barrier. All of them in the high 53s, which is interesting to see. DeLuca currently in the EOS Esport Academy car. EOS I have seen around a lot. I've had the pleasure of racing against some of their drivers, and if DeLuca is an Academy driver, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they can develop, and especially with career mode coming up, it's going to be testing a lot of their things, a lot of their different abilities. And DeLuca takes P6 for the 54.4. Absolutely blistering lap from the Italian driver. Immediately demoted again by Maya in the number 40 Audi. Yeah, there's a lot of competing qualifying attempts that are happening right now. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how some of these other drivers are going to be able to compete. All of the drivers with the red number plates seem to be going out now. So who is in pole position right now is not going to necessarily be the person who will finish with pole position, as they were first split. DeLuca looking a little bit frustrated at the red Mustang that has now found themselves in front of them, and they found themselves getting held up. They're off the track, and they are going to return at the garage with P7 on track at the moment. So yes, with career mode coming up properly, first full season of career mode, there's so many changes that have been made since the trial season that we had. And it's starting on January 5th for all non-Patreon members, and if you do get signed up on the ACM Patreon for just £4 a month, you can access career mode early. You get a lot of amazing, incredible features, such as being able to reserve a racing number. So if you have a number that other people are probably going to take from you, you can basically throw money on Harry's face and he'll give you your number guaranteed. Unless there's another Patreon member who wants to have your number, in which case, figure it out amongst yourselves. I don't really know how it works. Sadok is the other driver in the Imperiale Racing team, with Drea. Again, very, very nice looking Lamborghini. I do love that kind of design with the green and the blue and the yellow. It kind of reminds me of the Brazilian flag. It might be a Brazilian team. I don't know. I don't want to throw anything out there. Make any assumptions. Yeah, with 42 drivers on the grid at the moment, this is absolutely madness. I am very much looking forward to seeing what can happen. And oh, he's gone off. He's gone into the gravel. Left-hand wheels dipping into the gravel on the exit of the Ford curve, which is almost certainly gonna slow them down, if not invalidate the lap. Let me just double check. Apparently their lap is still valid, but that will have definitely slowed them down a little bit, because ideally you want to be in the grippy stuff, on, you know, the grey stuff on the road, and not in the gravel, unless you are a WRC driver. And I think there's only one GT3 driver now that used to be a WRC driver, and that's Carlo Rovanpara, who I think recently signed to a Porsche racing team, if I am not mistaken. Just currently looking to see who is making their way through the grid at the moment. Which drivers are going to be putting themselves towards the front. Sadok coming through the NGK chicane at the end of the lap into the final hairpin, looking for a late apex to carry as much speed on the exit as you can, because it leads onto the pit straight, and Sadok slides themselves into no position at the moment because that was their outlap. Okay. Again, it's been a while since I've done any racing. Loreto in the number 26. McLaren has slid themselves into 18th with Chen in the JP Motorsport McLaren in P20. Kvashnin in the number 19 BMW, the silver and pink machine, currently P17. A lot of the drivers with the red plates on are now starting to pepper themselves into the grid. One driver who has immediately impressed on the grid is Stefan Treneski for Brabham Motorsport. Again, there's a lot of drivers here that I haven't seen, but again, I haven't really been doing anything in ACM for about 3 months now, and I feel kind of bad about it, which is why I'm here right now, providing you with excellent commentary of these incredible drivers doing what they do best, which is absolutely chucking these cars about. With only 100th off pole position, and with seemingly a lot of improvements to make, looks almost certain that Treneski will be able to get pole if they can keep this lap together. They're already about a quarter of a second up on their previous best lap. So he seemed like a really quick driver, does Treneski. Lots of other red-plated drivers are sliding themselves into the grid. Currently number 202, Mas, is in P34. There's a handful of drivers who haven't actually set a lap just yet. Some drivers might actually not be setting a lap on purpose, because with a grid this packed and with a turn 1 as tight as the Nürburgring GP Striker, it's likely that we're going to be seeing a crash. Not that I'm hoping for a crash, because that wouldn't really be good for anyone racing, but it would make for peak content. Coming across the line now is Treneski, getting a decent run out of the final corner, getting the slipstream of the McLaren in front, goes into pole position, takes it by about 0.3 of a second. When I talk about margins, that's what I'm talking about. Treneski undoubtedly on pole position in the number 52 Brabham Motorsport Ferrari. He's pulled off now. He's going to go back into the pit lane. I think he's pretty happy with that lap, and if I were him, I would be too. With a 53.4 on the cards, I have never seen a lap like that. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Treneski here, but he's going right back out again. He must have done those laps on, on really, really low fuel. So he might have gone back into the pits to refuel, do an outlap, and then try and get another flyer in whenever they can. Currently looking through the grid to see who is looking to get the best improvement. Wilson in the number 16 BMW, looking very nice. I do love the really subtle pattern on that BMW. It almost looks like a default in-game livery until you do see it a little bit closer. That kind of geometric pattern on that BMW does look really quite nice. Hopefully Wilson can continue to absolutely floor it, as they're currently P34 at the moment, 4.7 seconds off of pole position, but they are having a pretty big improvement, nearly about 8 tenths currently on their previous best lap. They are doing a very, very good job to be improving by that much. With just about 2 minutes left to go in qualifying, we are going to be seeing a lot of shuffling through the grid, seeing where can some of these people place themselves. And again, a couple of drivers don't seem to have set any laps. The number 17 Ferrari of Extreme currently in the pit lane. They're meant to go out with first split, so either they missed qualifying or they are deliberately going to be starting from the back of the grid. Of course, when you do actually do the formation lap, there is the possibility of taking a pit lane start. Wilson slides up to P27 with a huge improvement from their previous lap. That's a 56.9 for the number 16 BMW driver. Absolutely excellent work. Looking back through the grid again. Als at the moment in the Red Bull Racing Ferrari, which the livery doesn't seem to be working, but just from the blue alone, I can tell that's meant to be a Red Bull livery. Am I a nerd? Yeah. Currently about a 10th up on their previous best lap. Might check in with them when they're closer to their to the end of their lap. Because another driver who's currently having a big improvement is Dyer in the number 635 Ford Mustang, the red and white machine. The colours of that do remind me of another company that is very infamous, but the red does look really striking on that Mustang, and I think the red aux lights on the headlights as well just make it really look really aggressive. I wouldn't want to be racing against this thing at night. It looks like it'd. Okay, I don't know enough about Knight Rider to make a solid reference there, but just throw a Knight Rider reference in there, because that's what I'm trying to do. Qualifying is now over, and a lot of drivers are going to be crossing the line to finish their final flying lap as Dyer has a bit of a struggle in the NGK chicane. They go a little bit wide in the first part of the chicane. Coming through the hairpin, they've nearly got a whole 10th, but about half a second gained on their previous best lap. This is going to put them into P16 with a 1 minute 55.4. Very, very good effort from the Mustang driver there, number 635. Looking very, very solid out there. Robinson in the number 82, Team Tana, BMW, the number 82 driver, coming out of the final corner, about a quarter of a second gained. That's enough to bring them slightly closer to Coelho, but just about a 100th off, stays in P22. A lot of other drivers don't seem to be improving too much, except for Weissman, who manages to get themselves up into P16 just behind Dyer in this very colourful looking BMW. Some of the other drivers are making a little bit more time up, such as the rest was about a 10th back on their previous best lap. Every other driver seems to be crossing the finish line. Well, seems to be down on their previous best lap. It's just the 299 and the number 26 at the moment. Never mind, that is the 27, 14 and 95 still on the track. And now joining me in the commentary box is our driver number 13. Maybe not so unlucky to be co-commentating here. Welcome into the comms box, Albert. How are things going tonight? What should we expect from the race today?
We certainly expect something good. It's a stacked grid, great track as well. Good to be here, good to be back, but we'll see what this has in store. 60 minutes of action, great drivers, great cars.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to seeing what these drivers can produce. And with 42 drivers on the grid, I've never seen anything this huge. Anything as massive as this. You know what else is massive? ACC Career Mode Season 1 is going to be coming out on January 5th. If you do get an ACM Patreon membership, you can sign up early, get ahead of the game, ahead of the curve, and be ready to race coming in January. Got a lot of different drivers who will be... joining, and lots of changes to the previous season, the trial season. And you might hear a familiar voice if you are a Patreon member. You can watch some of the tutorial videos if you are struggling with the website. But lots of improvements made to career mode, and I'm really looking forward to this new season, and also to this race. Is there anything about career mode in particular that you think that people should be looking out for coming into this next season?
You should definitely look out for getting cars. It's one caveat that will definitely catch you out. Again, benefit of the patron, you get to be there first. First is first, and once cars run out or once cars get too expensive, all of a sudden you might not get the car you want. So it's definitely first come. Um,
First come,
Prices
first
go up.
served type
Yeah,
deal.
first come, first serve mostly. Yeah, prices go wild. I believe last time in this trial season, I believe the McLaren went out of like starting price in a few hours. So you gotta get those cars quickly. I mean, it'll give you the upper hand. Everyone starts with no wear on their car, so you get brand new cars. So, but yeah, I think if you can get your car first, you're definitely in for a good season.
Definitely, and depending on the difficulty you pick, you get different amounts of money as well. So you can find out more about that, of course, on the ACM website if you are a Patreon member, and if you're not, you'll just have to hang tight until January 5th, where ACC Career Mode Season 1 will make its official debut, and I am very much looking forward to seeing what we can do. And it looks like we've actually lost our pole sitter. We're down to 41 drivers, and it's Porshakov currently starting in pole. I'm just trying to find out what's happened now.
That's awkward.
Okay, so apparently Trineski is having some really bad lag issues, and if they rejoin, they will be looking at a pit lane start. So despite qualifying on pole and showing some serious pace, if they are rejoining, which, yep, they have, they are currently P41. So Trineski, right at the back of the grid, is essentially doing a last to first challenge through no fault of their own, because they were having really bad lag issues, figured leaving and rejoining would fix them, but unfortunately that has put them on the back foot, and quite literally on the back foot, starting in P41, although it might actually be good, because if there is any chaos that happens in front, they will be able to have the most time to react to any of it. Because currently, there they are, in the... Oh, no, they're not in the pit lane. I'm blind. Okay. So, there they are. P41 in the Brabham Motorsport Ferrari. It's... I'd never seen a Brabham Motorsport racing car before. Actually on track. I'd only ever seen them in pictures, as though they were something of legend. I'd had one of my previous friends who'd done some livery designs for me, who'd previously worked with Brabham Motorsport, the... Simi Award nominated AMG 35. He'd made some liveries. I don't know if they still make the liveries for Brabham Motorsport, but I do remember their previous ones being really quite pretty. And this number 52 car is looking very nice. Very simplistic design that I think just works with the shape of the Ferrari really quite well. The navy blue and white just being really... Well, it just looks good. I can't really describe it any better than that. But I will keep eyes on the pole sitter for now, because that's probably where most people are going to be focusing their attention, with Porshakov inheriting P1 from Trineski, who's currently down in P41. So losing 40 positions before the first lap has even started. Again, not ideal, but I'm sure that Trineski can work their way from the back of the grid to do something magical this race. If people can't hear in the Discord call, please let me know, because I have no idea what the sound is like. I had 15 minutes to get everything ready.
We'll find out.
I'm sure everything's fine. I'll just turn you up to 200. Turn you up to 200 just in case.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, it'll be fine. And if it is quiet, then I'll know for the next time I do a stream. So what was the difference between the white and the red? It was qualifying split, right? We've got 40 cars on the grid. I think it was was it white for the first half, red for the second half?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah,
You gotta be careful with turn 1. It's tricky, and I think we'll be seeing chaos down there. It would not surprise.
absolutely, yeah.
Would you want the inside for the original right-hander, turn 1, the hairpin? Or would you rather have the inside for the next 2 corners? That's basically what you want to figure out. So they'll round the final corner and I'll let you take over.
Yeah, I mean, personally, starting on the left might give you a better advantage, because it allows you to kind of avoid anything a little bit more. Unless you're starting maybe a bit closer to the front, I think anyone in the mid-pack is going to be praying that they don't get caught up in any sort of carnage. And coming across the starting line now to start 1 hour of the Nürburgring GP circuit. They go green. Porshakov gets off to a really, really good start. The Huracan is pulling just alongside, keeping it to the left. We're going 3 wide behind with, I think that is Batek, Usaby and Gregorian. Up the inside goes the Audi. There is a bit of contact there. That is not ideal. The McLaren chops across the front of Usaby, currently around the outside of Dreyer, who is holding on for dear life through the Mercedes section of the track. Number 91, Kelly, seems to have had some sort of incident at turn 1. Most of the grid seems to have made it through somewhat cleanly, but there is another incident behind, yet you can just see in the background of the shot there, that is another car that is suffering at the moment, but that is Dreyer, who is still in P2, and Gregorian, who's made an awful lot of, well, just a lot has happened already. Pryor is already in the pit lane. I think they might have got caught up in some sort of crash, and they might have retired early from the race.
Harry
But
Boswell's also in the box now. So that's
yes, but Dyer also in the pit lane. That is a Mustang that has definitely seen better days. Let's see if I can actually catch anything that's happened on an instant replay. I hope that my game does not crap itself like it has on previous attempts where I've tried to show a replay. Oh no. Oh no, it has actually crapped itself. Okay, cool.
incredible start.
God's
Lily's
sake.
actually getting absolutely caught up in the mid pack. She's falling down to, I believe that's P10 now. Luca has just moved past.
So it looks like Dyer gets a decent start. Oh, he just gets driven into by one of the Ferraris, and then gets caught by another Mustang that gets absolutely smashed into him. That's not his fault. Oh, and then he tries rejoining as a Ferrari goes absolutely spearing off track. So he gets hit multiple times by other cars. First one, not his fault. Second one, I think is that an unsafe rejoin, or was that a Ferrari that just absolutely sent it off track right into the path of Dyer? Maybe in his blind spot, but that's a Mustang that is has seen better days. And what has just happened here? I actually can't see. It doesn't let me exit the replay early, so I am unfortunately stuck like this until now.
Huge moves down towards the mid pack there from P10 all the way down to P20. Some absolute banger moves, dive bombs after dive bombs. And honestly, bold moves from the lots of them, but it's still very tight even after these opening laps.
Yeah, I mean the race can. Well, some people say that it can be won on the first lap, but with an hour-long race, anything can happen, and it usually does in racing. And currently on board with the Manthey EMA car of Mock, who is currently P14, the number 111 car, trailing that Mercedes that looks like it's almost rocking the Bilstein covers ran by Jimmy Broadbent, and they go a little bit wide coming through the S, and that is two BMWs have to avoid it, and that's contact between them both. A BMW going backwards. That's Weissman and Kramer, who have had a bit of a coming together. Coming out of the corner, there's a huge crash behind. I don't even know what has happened there. Just, that is absolute madness. I think I don't even know what's going on. There was a huge crash. I think one of the BMWs that was across the track tried reversing and just reversed into the path of another car that was trying to go past them. The only bad thing about having a car right in the middle of the track is that you could go either way, and if you're not too sensible.
Final corner, that's Ustinov, I believe, in the 35. No, it's not. That was a car basically perpendicular to the track there right before the final corner. That is unstuck itself now, but that was oh, we actually have a yellow down towards the chicane. Who is that?
I think that is Weissman in the number 6 BMW.
Yeah, that's not, that wing does not look good.
I think he's the one that got smashed by like 3 different cars.
Yeah, that wing does not look exactly healthy, I would say.
No, ACC Race Control is not letting me change the cameras or anything.
That's incredible. Just use your F3 key. So Weissman into the pits now. That wing is going to get changed, I would assume, because that does not look good. A bunch of pitters, actually. We have a lot of guys in the pits. Harry's still in his box. Early
Yeah.
retirements for some of these. That's not exactly pretty, but here we are.
Yeah. Currently just trying to restart race control. You have to give me just a second, everybody, while I try and figure everything out. There we go.
We actually have a train behind Uzebi now, battle for P4. That's 5 cars, soon to be 6. They're behind Uzebi. They all want to make their way past, but can he hold off? Oh, very bad exit out of the chicane, actually. That's gonna put him
I don't know how to change the camera.
F3.
No, I mean to like a different driver.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, Batek might go on for Uzebi now. Into turn 1. No, he's gonna stay behind.
Let's keep an eye on this while I try and figure out why my ACC race control is not being... Why is it switching automatically? Wow, okay, this has never happened before. I don't know why it is, why it's doing this. Well, that is a move by Wilson in up to P25 now, and I'm still trying to figure out why. Pomelova's now up in P16, getting past Chen, with Alce just behind.
Oh, we have a yellow. That's
We do have a yellow.
don't know where, I think that's turn 6. We have a yellow down there.
Number 460 of Kramer has had a bit of an off there. Not ideal. Was I saying Mark Mass? Oh, that's not Mark Mass. I can't read. Never mind. Ignore me. Alright, my ACC race controls just decided to not behave, so I'm not sure I'm going to continue to get this done. It's the way I like to control the camera. It's not behaving. I was in a pretty tight fight here with Chen. Very, very close to the McLaren. It's a three-way fight for P16 at the moment. There's a lot of fights going on up and down the grid, but my camera will not let me change who I'm fighting with. Right, I've been told I might need to leave and rejoin, so I will quickly put it on the BRB screen as I try and fix this issue. So apologies, folks. I will just be a moment. Okay, apologies about that, folks. Just some issues from the broadcasting side here. Sincere apologies for that interruption. The current running order is still very much similar as it was, but well, it's about to change now as we have Kvashnin in the number 19 BMW making a move on Lily coming at the NGK chicane. Lily still has the inside, but they go over that second curb on the inside of the second part of that chicane. They're able to keep that going, and that is an Audi that has been off-roading the number 19 car. Almost spins Lily out of the last corner. Lily does give a bit of a squeeze, but it's firm but fair racing from the two. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. It's going to be a battle of who can brake later. Lily looks to almost lose the car under braking. Still looks to have an nose alongside, but that is a solid move there from Kvashnin.
Yeah, Lily's into the gradual von Niemann and Flash now. So that's something she's going to watch out for, as the number 80 Ferrari there is going to look for a move, but don't think will be done. We'll let them get the exit there on Kvashnin. Oh, we're going to go speeding penalty. That is the 16. What car is that?
And Khan, Mohammed Khan has spun out in the Mercedes arena. There's multiple yellow flags there, and Khan is now in the pit lane, out of the action there. Marani got caught up in that as well, crashed into, spun off the track. P20 is not going to be held on for much longer by the Brazilian driver in the number 14 Ferrari. That Ferrari has definitely seen better days, with Mock and Samuel just behind, probably going to pick up a couple of positions at least from that.
So Brian Wilson just gone deep into turn 6. Never mind, he's gone back to the pits. He has his 30 stop and go. I don't think that will count.
Yeah, he went so deep that he ended up in the pit lane, and this has now put Weissman up into P38. We have had a couple of drivers who have left. I wonder... Treneski is, again, fighting their way through the grid. Currently P31, after starting in P41, so that's 10 positions gained in just 10 minutes. And
that's up there as well. That's a
54-3.
54.
Oh, no, it's a 54-2. Yeah, no, I was reading the wrong column there. Whoops. We have had a couple of overtakes there. Gossel currently P26 ahead of Kramer, Marani, and Casellas? Caseless? I don't know. Oh, there's a car going slowly. That's Casellas who's gone off. Or Casellas. I don't know. If I'm mispronouncing your name, it's not because I'm British and ignorant. I am trying.
I do believe that was Turbinov. Yeah, that was Turbinov that's been Ukrainian there in Ram Racing. Just seems to have spin, it seems like. Almost lost on the rejoin as well, but
they are back on the track, and they are lapping, well, a lot slower than Treneski, who's now made their way up into P30. Again, a lot of the skill that you'll find is just about keeping your nose clean and staying out of incidents, which Treneski has been able to do. A lot of the drivers up front are having a considerably easier time of it, but there's a lot more cars a lot closer to each other than there were before. Porshakov in the number 696 McLaren, currently looking very nice out there, coming into the back straight with the gentle kink. I need to figure out what some of these corners are called. Advan, I guess, is what that one is called. I have a track map up, but I don't have 3 screens, unfortunately. So, unless I had it on my phone, but too much effort.
Almost.
Too much effort.
Low effort motorsports out here.
That's us. Don't need low. This is LEM, not LFM. So we've also seen to have a 3-way fight for P10 after Kvashnin had made their way through. That we have Van Nimmen and Flax just behind in the number 80 Ferrari and number 92 Porsche respectively. Lily in the number 57, looking very good out there with a very striking black and green livery. I think they'd more call that a mint colour, but to me that is just green.
It all looks the same anyways.
Well, I mean,
honestly.
It is a very pretty livery with like that neon pink 57 on the side. It just works, in the words of Todd Howard. With Maya having a 15-second penalty.
What is that, though?
I think that might be for turn 1. There was a little bit of...
I'll be checking now.
There was a little bit of contact, I think, at turn 1 with Maya and one of the other cars. And they have had a couple other incidents during the race. I think I had seen them rejoin the track at the last corner.
40, braking late, causing contact with multiple cars. That is a 15-second penalty. for the next pit stop. Another few penalties as well. Paolo Marani causing multiple cars collision. Turn 1 again, 15 seconds. We have Stefan Trineski. I believe that was our pole sitter.
That was our pole sitter, yes. Who
Yeah,
then?
he has a 10-second penalty for another turn 1 incident. Minor contact position gained. Actually, no, that might not be turn 1. That might be turn 2. Looking down, we have a warning for another car. I think that's it for penalties now. Just those 3.
Yeah, stewards might still be processing a few others because there was a lot that happened in a short space of time. So I'm sure the penalties are going to keep rolling in as we're just 15 minutes into this race. But a big shuffle round, and I think there is a mandatory pit stop in this race. So we're going to be seeing drivers pitting probably about the half-hour mark. Maybe earlier, maybe later. It just depends on what the drivers think is the best option. Do they go for the undercut, the overcut, or the dive bomb from Van Nimmen up the inside?
That's a bit rough, to put it lightly.
Yeah, that was...
92 is going to try and take advantage. Lily's on the inside for the next car. We have the 111 yellow in the NGK chicane. Oh, Lily for the inside. Ooh, just has to back out. We'll cut my nose in there. They're going to go down to Valvoline. See what they can do there. Liv's got to watch out for that Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche's absolutely sniffing at the rear of that McLaren. Inhaling all those British exhaust fumes and their recent F1 championship win. Yes, I will keep waving that around as a McLaren fan. We have... Indeed it was, and still is. With Lily currently just about half a second off of Van Nimmen in the number 80 Ferrari. They're going to be absolutely chasing that Ferrari down to try and get P10 back. A top 10 finish would be a brilliant way to start off the new year. Yeah, I don't think I could say any more than Harry already has. With a big thanks to everyone who's been helping to run ACM, and this is probably going to be the biggest year for ACM yet. We've got a lot of members, lots of races, ACC Career Mode Season 1 coming up in just a few days, and there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes, and I do want to take this moment to give a big shout out to everyone who has been working on this, but most importantly Harry. He has been, the soul of ACM and has basically been running everything by himself. But, he's had a lot of people come in and help out with things like stewarding, commentary, even designing the website, I think, at some points. We have a lot of amazing people who help keep ACM going. And one person that's keeping ACM going, or one company, I should say, is Uplay, who is, I believe, still our title sponsor. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's our title sponsor.
Indeed. So if you ever want to get your games for cheap, you can always head over to Uplay, get started on your sim racing journey cheaper and faster with Uplay. A lot of really good sim racing titles are available there, at least for a little bit cheaper than you can find it on Steam. I think there's Seto Corsa, ACC. We've even got new editions which ACM's been running in, such as Automobilista 2 and Le Mans Ultimate, which are all available on Uplay, including DLCs if you do want to get them for cheap. So head on over to Uplay and get a good start on your sim racing journey, or any game really. I mean, they've got everything. They've got everything there.
So a bit of a side note now, looking back at the incident between Van Nimmen and Lilly, it would not surprise me that comes back as a 5-second for Van Nimmen. Not the cleanest of moves, plenty of space there, still collide.
Yeah,
it wouldn't surprise me we see a 5-second for that number 80, but can he pull away before he gets that penalty served?
Yeah, Lily did leave the room, and Van Nimmen did have a little bit of a touch on the side, forcing Lily a little bit offline, and drifting there through the NGK chicane. I wonder if you know how they live in Tokyo, because Lily might, with number 57 going sideways on the exit of the NGK chicane. That's definitely going to unsettle them a little bit, and maybe heat up the rear tyres. Yeah, a little bit of air as well.
McLaren isn't right. Something tells me that McLaren doesn't drive as it should. because there's no way that Lily should be fooling around down at P11, 10 area without some damage. I've driven with her before. She is much quicker than that. What that car is showing now. So wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of a long pit stop from her, but
Yeah,
see there,
definitely.
that
Yeah,
McLaren
you can
does
see
not
that.
look right.
Yeah, you could see it a little bit twitchy on the
It
exit of
fishtails too
that
much.
right-hander.
It fishtails way too much. Like the McLaren is naturally a little bit oversteer compared to the others. It doesn't really like its rear end that much. But there's something wrong with that car, 100%. That's not
Yeah.
driving as it should.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since I've set foot in a McLaren as they go a little bit wide there through the Dunlop hairpin. Number 44 also seems to have had a bit of an issue through the... Hold on.
Yeah, that's
Through
last time.
Michelin. Or was it Vorsteiner?
Michelin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that is Vorsteiner as well. I mean, there's a lot... Again, the Nürburgring GP circuit, very, very unforgiving if you do go a little bit wider than you should, with it just being gravel and grass.
Yeah, it just rides. It has no remorse for you. Your feelings are not taken into account.
Yeah, no, the Nürburgring takes your feelings, writes them down on a sheet of paper, spits on them, and crumbles them into a ball, chucks them in the bin, and sets that bin on fire, and then sets that fire on fire again as they come through the final corner, with Flax now just about 3/10 behind.
He's trying to force Lily into a mistake. I don't know if they can do that, but Flax is getting impatient. Can we see it? Yeah. Oh, he pulls out.
Pulling it on the inside. He
Oh,
doesn't make the dive. Doesn't make the dive. He's letting Lily know that he's there.
Yeah, Flax is getting impatient. As I said, that McLaren is not driving as it should. There's something wrong with that, but still, Flax wants to get past. It's not great to be slowed down. The track driver there in that Manti.
Yeah, I mean, it's never good to be driving behind a car.
In the Mercedes arena. What number is that? It's number 17. That is, who's that actually? Number 17.
That is Extreme.
Yeah, he seems to have had a spin. White flags for him now.
And with the number 35 just behind,
Yeah,
they're going to be getting out of the way.
That Ferrari's going extremely, extremely slow.
Yeah, must have had some sort of issue. Again, never ideal to be held up behind a car that you think is slower. But
31, that's Rogossel. He's tumbling down the order. He's had a spin in that Honda.
Yeah, with the amount of
Oh, even more yellows. That's in Michelin. That's the 135.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
De
Luca. That is De Luca.
He's in the wall.
Oh, he is indeed in the wall.
Well and truly buried into the wall. And I
Yeah.
think that might be race over.
That is Lance Stroll style for 135. Unfortunately, ending up in the wall. A very good effort from De Luca, but unfortunately,
It was up in the top 5, I believe.
they were. Yeah, they have dropped down a significant amount. This has put Lily back in the top 10. But unfortunately, it has put the EOS Esport Academy driver into the wall and out of the race as they tumble down the order. This does make things a little bit easier if your name is Stefan Trineski, who's currently up to P25 from starting last place. Does have a 10-second penalty. Probably going to serve that in the pit lane.
Yeah. We don't have any full course yellows nor safety cars, so we're just waiting for that yellow to be cleared. Never mind, there it goes back to the pits.
Back into the pit lane, and we're just going to go
cleared then.
Go back to Lily.
Racing.
Yeah, it's never ideal to be held up behind a car that you think is slower, but it doesn't mean that the car ahead of you should just get out of your way just because you think you're quicker. You've got to make a move, and you've got to make it stick. So, being impatient almost never works out, because you're going to end up crashing yourself out, crashing the other car out, or even, in the worst case scenario, crashing you both out, and maybe taking an extra person with you. So
there's only 2 cases with Nürburgring. Either you're in the wall or you're in the other person's passenger seat, and I'll tell you, you won't be neither. So
yeah,
that's not ideal. But again, might wait till the pit cycle. Assuming Lily pits. You said there's not a mandatory pit stop.
I thought there was a mandatory pit stop.
I don't think there is. Might be wrong.
Yeah, I
There
have
just
no
like
idea.
whispering your tires home? The drop off at the end of the session is gonna be huge.
Yeah,
But can
no
you aim
mandatory
it
stop.
those
There is no
20?
mandatory stop.
No man should stop. So are we gonna go for the gamble of if you're in Lily's shoes now? You have a car right there. Obviously, Mary Louie looks for the move into the NG,
Education
education
cane.
game. Yeah,
Yep.
tongue twister that one. Are you gonna? If you're in Lily's shoes, you have a car right there. Wants to get back past you desperately, and you want to hang on for the top 10. No, assuming nobody else pits, are you able to make up those 30, 40 seconds you are gonna get through the whole pit lane with damage and everything? I wouldn't take that risk. I wouldn't go and get new tires. Maybe slash of fuel if you're under fueled, but I wouldn't take the risk of repairing damage now, especially when you have. If she pits now, she's effectively behind, or maybe right in front of the 98, which basically means P15.
Yeah, these GT3 cars are very nice on their fuel and tires. They're very happy to go an hour without pitting. You just put enough fuel in, and if you're nice on the tires, you can easily make a GT3 car last for an hour. That's what my team would always do in endurance races. We do hour-long stints. So I know from first-hand experience it's definitely possible to last an entire hour without having to stop for tires or fuel, but it does require a bit more of a conservative driving style. And most of the time, if you do have damage in a race like this with no mandatory stop, there is kind of a threshold where you're like, okay, I think I can drive around the issue. Other times you having to hold your wheel at 90 degrees just to keep the car going straight, and then you realise maybe I shouldn't be still out on the track while my car's frabbing like it's trying to flip burgers in SpongeBob. With Lily just about 5 seconds behind Van Nimmen, and with Flax still on the rear of that McLaren, just about 3/10 back. Things are going to be heating up for P10, much like how things are remaining quite heated for P1, with Dreyer just behind Porshakov, really chasing him down, hounding him for that lead. The RGT Racing team the RGT Racing team McLaren is looking very, very solid out there, and with Dreyer just a little bit behind, this is looking like we could have a battle for P1 all throughout the race. There are very few gaps between drivers that I can see.
Flax around the outside.
Yeah,
Lily's gonna try to keep that. No, Flax keeps around the outside. It's gonna have the inside now. Lily covers that off. Anyways, quick update on penalties. Number 565, Andrei Krutov, 10 seconds for a yellow flag instant, along with blue flags. Joel Kelly, 5 seconds for minor contact position gained. Abbasi Hussein, however you pronounce that, minor contact position gained once again, 5 seconds.
Yeah.
5 seconds for Sebastian Holster for causing a collision, yellow flag infringement. Cairo Samuel, 10 seconds for major contact, car 14. 5 seconds Mohammed Khan for unsafe rejoin contact. 5 seconds for Marek Mock. Marek Mock, interesting name. Yeah, that's also that's a significant contact position not gained. Third warning for Cairo, another yellow flag misdemeanor. And that is it.
A little bit of a slide from Lily there. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, coming through the hold on Michelin curve.
17, car 17. I think that's burning the wall. Wait, let me find that.
That is Extreme, who's now returned to the pit lane. I think they've had a bit of a crash. They've now found themselves back in the pits. I think that is the end of the race for car number 17.
Oh, Flack's still very, very impatient.
That's Turbinov. Turbinov has spun at the hairpin.
Yes,
Turbinov in the grass. Again, not exactly where you want to be. Ideally, you want to keep it on the tarmac, because that's where your car has the most grip. Having a look at...
Slightly late on the brakes. Looks for a switchback, not going to happen. You can't really go for a switchback in turn 1. You just can't really. I would say the corner's too fast for a switchback. It's also just the corner profile just doesn't allow for a switchback there.
Yeah, definitely not. And with Lily and Flax being so close to each other, there's a lot of actually battles that are happening up and down the grid that I previously hadn't seen. We've got a potential battle for P7 with Kvashin and Maya, just about half a second between each other. Lily and Flax again been focusing on this battle for a long time. Maya, well, I say Maya's battling for position, but with Maya having a 15-second penalty, it's more of a battle for ego than for position. Just a little bit.
Through the Schumacher S.
Lily's a bit twitchy in that McLaren.
Yeah, Lily's struggling, it seems. You see the... Oh, deep! Very deep, actually. Don't know if that will count as an off-track, but we'll see.
I probably wouldn't count as a track cut, but definitely off-track for Lily. With just about 3/10 jut between Flax and the number 57 McLaren. Things are looking to be...
The 814 Omran in the Mercedes AMG there's also starting to get into the fight. Flax has to watch his mirrors now. If he can't get past Lily, he's going to have another Mercedes up there. And that would be fun. You have the 14 also starting to creep up, but I believe that is a lap down. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Omran and Flax lapping at a very similar pace, it seems like. And that is a dive bomb and a half! But Lily gets the switchback immediately. Yeah.
That's a bold move, to put it lightly.
Wow, bold and brash. And that move did indeed belong in the trash as Lily immediately got that switchback. Dive bombs won't get you anywhere if you can't execute them correctly, and unfortunately the number 92 Porsche has found that out the hard way, still in P11, still very impatient, still seeing the rear of the number 57 McLaren.
If you could complete a dive bomb, it's called a good move. If you mess it up, it's a dive bomb. There's a difference in the terminology there, but Omran is really starting to catch up now. Lily's gotta watch out. Flax also. Flax is getting really desperate for that move. He needs to get that done. Omram is right there.
Now is Ustinov as well in the pit lane.
10th of a second away. And that'll be a bit of a dangerous battle.
Yeah, just hoping for both sides that this battle remains clean
and we have a battle
civil.
For the lead as well. Dreyer's trying to get past Porshakov. Dreyer's actually quite a bit faster. But he's losing time behind that McLaren. Sorry to cut you off, but...
No, it is a battle for the lead, which traditionally
we'd... I'm going to put a wrench in the tools there.
Well, they both managed to clear him quite nicely. They've got Turbanov just ahead, who hopefully shouldn't be holding up too badly. Oh, and there's contact! There's contact! Yep. So it looked like Turbanov just kind of slowed down on the racing line, but I think Porshakov wasn't expecting to be that close to the Mercedes. Just put him in the wall, shoved him out of the way. That might be a bit of a bunk on the head for Porshakov, who, he's been sitting pretty in P1 this whole time, but with Dreyer still sticking just about 0.3 of a second behind him.
Both ways, honestly.
Yeah.
You have, you have the Mercedes there. He brakes on the exit. That could go both ways, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if Porsche gets a penalty.
If he did brake on the exit, that would have been, yeah, definitely something to look at. But with it being it should be the responsibility of the lapping car to get past the blue flagged car in a safe and predictable manner.
But again, if the lapped car is behaving weirdly, who's really to blame then?
That is true. Again, issue for the stewards. All we are commentators, so there's not much I can say on the issue. What do we know?
Second, for Professor Chen Z.
Hold on, Dreyer around the outside, coming at the NDK chicane. Porshakov's holding him off. It's going to compromise his exit, coming into the final hairpin.
Turn one though.
Yeah, I don't think Dreyer really had a decent exit there.
Can the slip
Userby
go?
has dropped down, it seems, behind
No,
Batek.
he's still P4.
No,
Wait,
no, Userby's dropped back down. Batek has moved himself up into P4. Userby behind him now.
interesting.
It's just so much going on. I cannot keep up with all of this. This is madness.
It's crazy racing out here.
Yeah, definitely. That gap.
Still trying to hold off from Flex and Omram, but Flex and Omram, they're in a bit of a battle now. So I said that it would be a bad omen if Flex couldn't get past, and it certainly has seemed to be proven so.
Definitely, yeah. With that gap now opening up between Lily and Flux, it's looking more like Flux and Omran are going to be having a bit of a battle for P11. Samuel currently in P15, just behind Kelly, but they do have a 10-second penalty compared to Kelly's 5. So even if they do overtake, there's still a 5-second difference in those penalties. A similar issue is if we're looking back at Coelho and Trineski. Actually, Trineski has managed to build more of a 5-second gap to Coelho, which means that they are at least ahead of them on track, and depends if Kramer and Sadok can stay within that 10-second window. That'll give them an extra position, basically for free.
Dreyer on the inside.
Yeah, coming in an NGK chicane. This has put Dreyer in a bit of a better position. Porshikov holds him off. There's contact! There's contact! Porshikov goes off, but he's still ahead.
One as well. That's a 77. I'll give you that. They'll go into a yellow now. No overtaking down there. Pomalov seems to have spun into turn 1. On that note, we also have a 5-second penalty for Turbanov. It's not for an incident with the leaders. That's a separate incident. That's still yet to be judged. But that could come post-race. That could be a bit of a wrench in the situation, but we'll find out then. So Omram still hunting down Flax now. Really starting to pull away. Rasmus Omram there, the Danish driver, got support for a fellow Dane, but he's going to try to go for the move. Dreyer is still a bit desperate for the move, don't you think?
I mean, he's looking impatient, and with well, we don't know if Borshenkov's going to be getting a penalty, but from Dreyer's perspective, he might just be thinking, I just saw this McLaren absolutely kill the Mercedes in the Mercedes arena, so he must be getting a penalty, just let me by. But Porshikov doesn't seem to be thinking that way. He's thinking, I'm still P1, fair and square, and if you want it, you're going to have to come get it. And with Dreyer now just about 3/10 behind him in the Lamborghini, we are seeing a battle of giants between the number 696 and 240. They're going to be fighting all the way to the end, because these two drivers are looking very close to each other, and coming up the inside! Up the inside goes Dreyer! On the inside of the Michelin curve, coming through Vorsteiner, and that is Dreyer that has made their way up into P1 with a bit of an audacious move.
Though. That's clean enough, no contact.
Yeah, no contact. They just. Is he letting him past? He's letting him past. Is this showmanship or sportsmanship? I wonder.
Is it the ego getting better of him? Another 5-second for Mehdi Sadok. I hope I didn't butcher that name. Minor contact precision gain 5 seconds for the 299. That's on P20. That's interesting. It didn't seem like they had contact.
Well, Bastian Holter is now just behind Batek with about 2/10 between them, looking on the outside. Not going to make a move because they're a little bit too far back, almost into the back of Batek. With a 5-second penalty for Holter, again, they are going to be dropped down to 6th if Userby can stick within that 5-second gap. Lots of drivers up and down the grid are, still very, very close to each other. Kvashnin and Meyer are close, but with Meyer again having a 15-second penalty, it's probably not really going to matter much if Meyer does get past, because from Kvashnin's pace, it looks like he'd be able to actually stick within that 15-second window and maintain that P7. It looks like Flax has opened up that gap to Omran a little bit, and they're now just about 3/4 of a second back from Lily, who is, again, still really trying to wipe that Porsche from the back of their rearview mirror. To be honest, they're probably sick of seeing him after 20 minutes of pure Manthai Grello right in their rear view. It's not going to be something they're going to want to continue to see, so they're going to want to continue to pull away, which they are managing to do. I think they've just got about half a second on that lap alone from Flax, who does have Omran just a little bit further behind, who was about half a second slower than them on the previous lap. So things are opening up a little bit in that region. We've got Coelho and Kramer, or however you pronounce it. I apologise if I'm getting it wrong. Battle for P18. The two were side by side for a little bit there. BMW taking a little bit of a wider entry, gets them a really decent exit. I think they're going to be side by side with the Ferrari. Looking at the interior of the Ferrari, the BMW up the inside, he's leaving the space, and that is a move for the number 460, who's made their way up before even the Ford curve.
Yes, we meet again the 44 and the 696 once again through the same section. They're getting lapped again. The 44 that was previously murdered in cold blood is the lap car going to throw a wrench into the soup here, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like Turbanov is, he does let them by quite nicely, goes wide, goes rallying, and yeah, he's let them by with no issues this time, probably because he's scared that Porsche going to murder him again, but who knows, maybe it was just a genuine mistake.
That seems to be being judged now. That's been judged as a racing incident now.
Wow.
Which was interesting, to say the least.
Definitely an interesting ruling. Not sure I'd agree with it, but it's the stewards at the end of the day.
I won't comment if I agree with it or not, but it's interesting. We got three new penalties on the board now. 5 seconds for Marek Mock for minor contact position gain, spinning the 5 around. 10 seconds for Daniel Kramer for significant contact position gain, and 10 seconds for Abbasi Hussein for major contact position gained. Another 5 seconds is coming in now. Wait, no, that's getting changed to 5 seconds. Which car though is getting that penalty? It's a 696. The leader is getting a penalty.
So that effectively puts Dreyer in front of Porsche.
Dreyer has a provisional lead then. So here, penalty, the ruling by the stewards, 5 seconds for the 696.
Was that with the contact with Turbanov earlier on in the race?
That
right.
is the contact with Turbanov.
Interesting. Okay.
That is,
that's certainly spiced the fight for the lead up a little bit, but it does make it a little bit pointless, I'd argue, since Porsche
put his eyes forward, then he needs to pull those 5 seconds out if he wants to get any chance. There's confirmation that Andrei Porshikov, 5 seconds for minor contact.
Yeah, and with Dreyer again right on the back of him, like a toy train with those magnets on the front and back.
Yellow flag on the front straight. See what that is about. 814. Where's that?
That's Omran. Yeah, I think they had some sort of incident there, maybe a bit of a hardware issue. They've now dropped back from Lily and Flax, who are now once again fighting.
No, not drop positions, but...
Well, not drop positions, but he has dropped back by a significant time margin. The gap between Flax and Omran now lying around 14 seconds, which is definitely not ideal if you're in the 814 Mercedes, who would have really been wanting to fight for that P10, but with that issue that they've had, looks like they're probably not going to be fighting for that position anymore. They have found themselves in a nice little bit of clear air, 14 seconds in front and 13 seconds behind. As long as they can just kind of keep their nose clean, they'll be okay. And that's Kramer, who is off. There's Kramer, who is off the track at turn 1, in the wall, and that's a BMW that looks like it's been chucked in a washing machine.
Minor inconvenience there. That's a pretty few scratches, I'll give them that.
Yeah, and with us as well, P17, that Ferrari does look a little bit more scratched up.
Players into lead now. Porsche Cups has 5 seconds applied. but Dreyer is into the lead.
Yeah, Dreher's actually made that overtake. I am so sad I did not see that move, but I'm sure it was absolutely brilliant. With Dreher now leading the race, approaching even more lap traffic. With about 15 minutes left to go, Dreher's victory is all but certain, as Porshakov, who is about half a second behind now, has a 5-second penalty. So even if they do overtake Dreher, it won't be for much unless they can pull out 5 seconds. The trickiest part now is actually going to be navigating all this lap traffic, which is definitely something you need to consider on these big grid races. There's a wide variety of people.
That's Ferrari that goes a bit deep into that hairpin there.
That's Pomolov who went a bit deep there. But yes, with these big grid races, there's a lot of varying skill levels. So you do end up with some of these esports level drivers who are competing with a couple people who just want to have a bit of a fun race. So there's a wide variety of skills. Going back to another driver for Imperiale Racing, Sadok currently making an overtaking on Casellas, making their way up into P19 past the Ferrari. The number 299 is making their way up through the grid. Samuel and Kelly currently having a little bit of a battle. Coming out of the Ford curve, the two Ferraris are going to be side by side, but ultimately Samuel sits behind and is just going to try and stick with Kelly. Again, with a 10-second penalty for them and Trineski behind. It's all just going to be about trying to stick with each other. And when that penalty does get applied, they are all going to probably drop a position or so. With Alts currently P17, looking to be P15 by the end, if they can stick this close to Trineski and Samuel in the number 55 and 52.
There is a lot of penalties. I just clocked that.
Well, I don't know if Mark is still running his how many incidents thing, but this would be a tricky one to predict. But anyone who guessed however many we've got.
There's even more penalties now. Just 2 more. Andrei Pomolov, the 77, 10 seconds for unsafe rejoin and major contact, and 10 seconds for 565 for causing collision with faster car. So that's
On topic of faster car, Flax has now made their way past Lily.
Yeah, even more penalties on the board, which is interesting.
That's a BMW that's sideways. That's not ideal. Can't park there, mate. Number 44.
77 as well. What is that?
That was not a BMW. That was a Mercedes.
Pomolov. Pomolov spun.
Pomolov has spun, and Turbanov has spun as well.
That is that's an interesting second of events, to put that nicely.
Yeah, people are spinning a lot, which is. Well, I mean, I don't know what to say, really. I think at this point in the race, most people haven't pitted, obviously. No one's pulled up the pit lane. Yeah, no one further up the grid is...
P4 now, Holter is on his way to grab Batek. Batek's a bit wide out of that chicane there.
Yeah, with a lot of drivers currently... it's getting to that end point in the race. The tyres are maybe going to be struggling if you've been pushing really hard. Again, this is where having a more conservative driving style does pay off a little bit, because you can then start pushing towards the end of the race. If you can keep your tyres within a decent window throughout the rest of the race, you're basically all set for when the end of the race comes and people have been pushing.
I just realised.
Yeah, Lily got overtaken by Flax while we were talking about the penalties. I think it was a move into turn 1, carried on through the Mercedes arena, just able to make that move stick. And Holter looked to have a bit of a wider entry, but got a bit of a poorer exit than Batek. And Holter does have a 5-second penalty as well, don't forget. So, if they do overtake Batek, they're going to have to get a bit of a shuffle on to try and get a 5-second gap. Because at the moment, this essentially puts Holter down into P6. User B to be promoted to P5 with Holter's 5-second penalty that will definitely be impacting them. I'm trying to look through The only real battle we have on track that isn't affected by penalties, I think, is actually between Flux and Lily. Because looking further down the grid, I think a lot of these drivers do have penalties from earlier incidents. Mark having a 20-second penalty, or 20 seconds worth of penalties, that would drop them down, I think, to at least P25. Even though there is a bit of a battle going on there, it's probably not going to be for position as Lily and Flux are getting very, very close to each other. Flux a little bit wide on the exit of the Dunlop hairpin.
As well.
Both of them not really having the best of times, it would seem. And I know the Porsche is one of the cars that is suited to this track a little bit more from what I've heard from drivers who have driven it. Personally, I cannot drive the Porsches. They are not for me.
I like the snappy rear end, but that Porsche is just like a tick too much, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that if I drove the Porsche in reverse for a whole race, I'd absolutely love it, but it just isn't my cup of tea. Unfortunately, I'm a Ferrari convert, so that's
basic, isn't it?
A little bit, but I much prefer it to the McLaren, who's had a... Yeah, Flux had a little bit of a wide entry on the NGK chicane. That's going to be not very good for them. Lily has a bit of a... keeps a tighter line through the final hairpin, and a better exit as well, because Flux did go a little bit wide.
Porsche got the straight line.
Yeah, the Porsche has crazy straight line speed. Lily has the inside for turn number 1. Flux comes off to cover that. They have gone a little bit wide. Can Lily hang it around the outside in the Mercedes arena? The answer is no, but they are sticking right behind.
No move there from Lily. Actually, coming close. Gonna try to set the exit up. That Porsche just got so much better straight line speed. Lily's trying everything, but she just doesn't have it in the straights.
And I would be trying to use the wing cam a little bit more, but with how massive the Porsche's rear wing is, it does kind of make it a bit more difficult to see where the car behind actually is. So, there we go. How about the interior cam of the number 57? Again, sticking very, very close, and that's the Porsche going a little bit wide at Dunlop. Lily is really struggling to keep that car. You just see how much the wheel was moving there. That was not ideal. I think they might have panicked a little bit there. Flux again goes a little bit off track, gets a little bit of gravel coming into Michelin. Lily has made that move. They're back into P10, and yeah, that's what happens if you get a little bit flustered. Happens if you get a little bit flustered. Flux has a bit of a moment. They've ended up in P11 now.
So much.
That's about as twitchy as I remember the McLaren being, at least.
Trenesky. What a name, can't say anything. He's making his way past the 82 BMW. All lap traffic there in the way, that's going to cut that short. Pole sitter up in P14 with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, definitely. And as we're coming towards the business end of the race, I do again want to promote ACC Career Mode, ACM's newest spin on ACC League Racing, this time with a fresh lick of paint, and, well, basically everything's changed. A whole new career mode awaits January 5th. Sign up for the Patreon and you get an early start where you can get your cars, your sponsors, and everything set up early. Just get all the admin stuff out of the way, and feel free to check out ACC Career Mode at acm-racing.com, as Trenesky just goes right past Robinson, who I would assume has just let him pass, knowing that Trenesky has that 10-second penalty, and I guess Robinson has that confidence to be like, right, there's only about 6 minutes left in this race. I'm sure I can stick within 10 seconds of this Ferrari. So Trenesky's now given himself the challenge of trying to pull out 10 seconds worth of gappage in just 6 minutes, which would be an impressive feat to say the least, but seeing the 2 lap times, not sure if that's going to be possible.
Well, he has to pull a bit over 5 seconds. Yeah. Kelly has a bit of a penalty as well as 5 seconds there.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you ready? There's more penalty on the boards.
There's more red than a Monza celebration.
Yeah, it's incredible. So so Krutov, the 565, has a 10-second. Marek Malk, another 10-second penalty for mine contact position gained using another car's brakes. Flax has a penalty for overly aggressive driving, and Dyer has a bump drafting warning, which is interesting. No,
Yeah,
can't be bump drafting. This isn't Talladega, guys. Come on.
Yeah, bump drafting is an interesting strategy. I don't know how viable it is in ACC. I know in NASCAR that they use a whole load of different strategies. Some of the real life drivers even pulling from video games to get their strategies right. Halter is currently having to navigate some lap traffic soon enough, following Usaby, even though they've got that 5-second penalty. That Audi is still looking very solid, with that 720S just ahead of them. Oh, pulls right into the racing line of Halter. That is really, really unsafe there. From that McLaren just pulling right in front of the Audi there. I'm glad that nothing bad happened there. That's a lot better, respectful lap traffic driving from that Ferrari behind them now. I can't actually tell which number Ferrari that is. But that maroon Ferrari doing a lot better job of being a well-behaved lapped car than the McLaren, who almost ruined Halter's race even more.
There are good news. We've reached the bottom of the penalty sheet. 10-second for Professor Chen Zi for causing collision with a faster car. That's all for the penalties. For now, at least. Don't challenge the ghost. But 3 minutes now. I think that's white flag. Next flag, I believe it's white flag. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's confusing for me because white flag I normally means that there's a slow car and not that it's a.
It means, confusingly enough, in G2 World Challenge it's both. They have white flag for slow car and they have the white flag for the final lap. But I'm too IMSA minded to know white flag is anything but final lap. So.
Yeah,
G2 World Challenge uses both.
Which is adds another layer of confusion, I think. If you're
the sport isn't confusing enough.
Yeah, and then if you're coming from iRacing, you know that confuses things even more for you. So, I mean, I've had a few people that I know who have
the iRacing virus has gone through my mind.
Yeah, the people who are
off track instead of track cuts.
Yeah, I do have a few friends of mine who are iRacing converts who have started playing iRacing and are kind of off ACC. And then people who've come from iRacing to ACC and have stomped people. That is a yellow flag at the hairpin. That's the number 44 car that has had a bit of an off there. Not ideal from what you want to be seeing around the track.
Actually, we might get 2 laps. Yeah, we're going to get 2 laps.
Yeah, this lap...
2 to go.
Yeah, 2 to go. With Dreyer completing... Or on their 30th lap there. If they're on their 31st. I cannot tell. It's hard looking through this sheet.
That's a bit of a slide.
Let me try to see the battle between Batak and Usaby. The number 5 BMW getting out of the way very nicely for Batak, who is flashing their indicators as a sign of thanks, and hopefully not as a sign of annoyance. It is a bit difficult to read body language through the indicators of a car, especially when it's a BMW, whose indicators are an optional extra when you pay for the GT3. Usaby is looking. Yeah, Usaby is looking for a bit of a move, making sure Batak knows that they are right behind. Porshakov has dropped down even further now.
Late move for Flax there. That's a dive bomb and a half. Jesus.
Yeah, and with Lily is just behind them, really putting the pressure on. My eyes are still at the front of the field, though, between Batek and Usaby, who are both fighting very hard to try and get this P4. And if they're lucky, it might even be a podium finish, depending on where Porshakov can finish. with the
dropped down to P3. I just
Porsche
noticed.
down in P3. Yeah, they've had Gregorian overtake them, and this battle for P4 on track will be P3 once the penalty is applied. So Userby is going to really be pushing to try and get that 4th place from Batek. Userby does go a little bit wide, Batek holding the right-hand side.
Like 5 now for the leaders.
And we've got one more lap to go. There'll be 32 laps of the Nürburgring GP circuit. But I am firmly keeping my eyes on this battle for P4 because this could be P3 by the time that flag falls. Batek and Userby both fighting very, very hard. Their lap times very, very similar as well. Both getting a 56.4 on their previous lap.
Flax is slow. That's Lily that comes around the outside there.
Yeah, and Lily is swept right past Flax to take back P10. Absolutely brilliant move from the McLaren driver, but I'm still focusing on that battle between Batek and Userby. So I am watching this battle greatly. Things are going to be really, really interesting from the Ferrari and the BMW here. Batek currently coming through. God, I should keep my track map open. Coming through. Oh, it's really hard to read this.
I think you might need a pair of glasses.
Ford curve. There we go. I have one already. Worry not.
Maybe get another pair.
I'll put them on top and I'll be able to see better. Turbinov moving out of the way for Batek. Hopefully not really causing that much trouble for the lap for the cars that are lapping them. Yeah, seeming to be very well behaved. Batek still very close to Userby. 4/10. But I'm also wanting to get Dreyer as they come across the line. They're coming through the slight kink on the straight, through Advan, I think it is. Yeah, Advan Bogan coming into the NGK chicane. I will be quickly swapping the camera over to them as they come through the final corner. TV camera number 2. Andrea comes across the line to finish P1 at the Nürburgring GP circuit. This is the first race of 2025 with ACM. Andrea is getting off to a wonderful start, claiming a P1 finish. Gregorian in the RGT setups McLaren. Porshakov just behind, and with Batek finishing P4, I think that will be P3 on track by the time the penalties are applied. Yeah, with 4 seconds between the two, Batek gets P3 once penalties are applied. Userby P4 after penalties.
Oh, we're going to get last minute battle here between Lily and Flas. Flas goes a bit wide through the NGK chicane. Oh!
Lily's looking around the outside and the last corner. Can they hold it off? Flax does get a reasonable exit. It's side by side, but Flax takes the win but takes the lead of the battle by just about 0.5 of a second. That was close racing.
That was a bit naughty off the grass into the education. It's a bit naughty, but it's up to interpretation.
And Treneski is looking to try and get a move on Omran. They can't make that move. Treneski currently P13, and if Robinson can keep this, can keep the gap roughly the same, they should be able to finish this race within 10 seconds of Treneski, and they do just about that! That is close margins, as Robinson's going to get P12. Kelly crosses the line, P14 on track. Samuel is very, very slowly crawling to the finish line.
As a fuel, I think.
Yeah, trying to get as much screen time as possible for the ACM Ferrari. With
no bump from the BMW, but
BMW's being very nice there.
Done.
And that's the race. That's the race, everyone. Dreyer is your lead car, finishing the first race in 2025 with ACM in P1. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I've been Derg.
I'm Albert.
And we will see you for the next one. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we wish you a very happy new year from everyone at ACM. Welcome to ACC Career Mode by ACM Racing. ACC Career Mode is back and better than ever, with a 3-month-long series containing over 50 races with mixed formats and challenges. Team up with friends to manage your finances, car performance, and sponsor contracts, or go solo and manage your favourite car across the whole season, utilising the daily, weekly, and monthly challenges to add some spice to your online racing. The best thing? You decide your career, with 7 different paths to choose from. Minimum effort is no effort. ACC Career Mode Quarter 1 contains 5 races a week, all stewarded and commentated live with a range of formats from 4 to 12 hour endurance races to 25-minute sprints. The full race calendar is available at acm-racing.com, with individual race sign-up taking place on SimGrid. Only available on Assetto Corsa Competizione PC European-based league.